Welcome, everybody, to another exciting, hopefully, episode of the Vinyl Community Guncles, episode number 23. I'm Robert Fitton, along with Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and Mike from Hubtunes. Here we are this time responding to a poll that we did on our community page. We're putting up polls in case you missed those. It's kind of hard to find those on the website. They're really easy to find if you have the mobile app, but on the website you kind of have to go to our page, then the community tab and whatever. But on the mobile app, it just shows up along with all the videos and everything. So if you're subscribed, if you are subscribed, so please subscribe. You could take part in the polls. But one of the polls was what kind of episode would you be most interested in? The country episode, the heavy metal episode, the jazz episode, or the new wave episode? And new wave was the winner. So welcome to the new wave episode.
Yay, my jam.
So we'll be talking about all new kinds of new wave. What is considered new wave? What is not? I'm sure we'll all be in complete agreement.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've also got the scenario, what record would you pull, coming up. And but first, let's get to the album review, because that could be considered new wave by some people too. It was The Cure's 17 Seconds. And that was another thing that Craig pulled out of a hat. From the list of people that had that, we had that live stream and people suggested what we should listen to. And
what other things did he pull out of the hat?
A rabbit, a condom, a piece of fuzz.
I'm gonna pull a condom out of a hat.
And we went with The Cure for some reason. Dusty Spins recommended this.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going first with The Cure? Does anybody have this? This is the only Cure I don't have from the 80s.
I don't have this one either, so I only have 2 Cure albums.
Craig has 3.
I just have one.
It's enough for all of us.
Of course.
Craig will share with the other 2.
Well, they're all different versions, though.
Really? That's all because of the 5th song, right, Craig? That you have 3 copies.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because I think I asked that last time, and I was told they were all the same.
No, they all have. No, they're all the same.
Things have changed. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know there's different covers. They have a different cover on them. Okay, so who's first?
When it gets to me, I'll explain why I have 3 different versions. But I'm last, of course. So.
You're last? Okay.
Yes, I'm last.
I'm second.
Well, Mike, you want to go or shall I go?
I'll go first. Yeah,
All right.
I'll go first. Get it out of the way. So, I took notes. I really like this record. I remember when I bought it. I bought this one and the first one at the same time, because 1982. This is 82, right? 82. 80. Jesus.
Yeah.
When the first one came out, I wasn't real familiar with it, and then I kind of after a couple of years after, I really got into the first record, and I was like, wow, they have 2 records out. I'm gonna go buy them both. So I went to the record store. I rode my bike up to Laurie's Records or was it Rose Records? Rose Records, Deerfield, Illinois, and I bought the first album and I bought this. And I love the first album. The first album is my favorite Cure album. I love the simplicity of it. I love the post-punk punkiness of it, the rawness of it. I know the later stuff is awesome. I love it too, but it's just a totally different band. I just love the first album. And this kind of goes, it flows right in. It's a great follow-up. You know, it's still got that simplicity of it, but you can see the songs are really, the songwriting is starting to develop and get better, more complicated, definitely darker. I'll just go through the songs. I love Today. Secrets is great. 3 is one of my favorite songs on this record. A Forest is one of my all-time favorite Cure songs. I absolutely love it. It's live. It is spectacular. I absolutely love it. The song M, really fantastic. Also one of my favorite songs on the record. The title track, I enjoyed. I hadn't listened to it for a while, and I really, really enjoyed it when I pulled the record out and was playing it. I love the bass. You know what stood out to me on this listen, but which I really hadn't noticed before, was the bass riff on the title track. I really like that. I really like this record. I've always really enjoyed it. I love I love Faith, and I all the first 3 or 4 records are just masterpieces. Apple Music sucks. I don't know if any of you guys listen to this on Apple Music, maybe in your cars or something. The mix on Apple Music is horrible. You can't hear his vocals on half the songs. It's awful. I highly recommend not listening on Apple Music. But Apple Music does have, and I know we're just reviewing the record, but the deluxe version on Apple Music has like 2 or 3 extra songs and then a few live tracks. Those extra songs on the deluxe are probably just as good as everything that's on the record. They definitely should have been on there. It's I'm a Cult Hero and I Dig You. 2 great songs. I'm sorry? I knew you would know more.
Those are actually considered a different band. They're called Cult Hero. And it's not Robert doing the vocals.
Really? The guy sounds just like him.
Yeah, he does. It's their
At least
mailman.
on Apple Music.
Yeah, no, it's their mailman.
Oh my God, that thing? We talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, they're great songs.
Yeah, no, they're great, but it was
really good.
It was a 45 single, and it wasn't available for a very, 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 very long time. So,
The rest of the band plays on
original,
it? The rest of the band plays on them?
Yeah, it's pretty much the Cure with the Postman. So I'm pretty sure.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
they're great songs. They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Well, that's why they're not on the record.
Right.
Awesome. I like I said, I love this record. I love their first record, but I it's terrific. I'm going to give it 4 rainbows.
I'm looking for something. Hang on.
The mailman?
Get this out. It should be this one. It's not. That's cutting through.
This is going great.
There it is. Missed a step. Okay.
And now for Robert.
So I was introduced to The Cure with this. The cassette
a lot of people
for Standing on a Beach, which is called Staring at the Sea on the CD, but this actually has all the B-sides and everything on side 2. And I remember the song A Forest sounded pretty cool. It was very sparse, and it was just kind of gothic kind of sounding, and I don't think it sounded like the earlier stuff. I did have somebody who played this. That's why I don't have it, because I didn't care for it at all. I'd like to start my review, actually, by quoting Lynyrd Skynyrd from their first album. I am beginning to believe I'm a part of some kind of conspiracy. This is just to make me look like I don't like anything that everybody else likes. I really don't like this album. I didn't like it when I heard it years ago. I didn't like it the 3 times I just heard it. It sounds to me like a bunch of demos. Maybe it was how I heard it, which was YouTube music, which is legitimate, not just somebody's upload. I mean, YouTube has a YouTube music app that you
Did one of the
to
songs sound to you like he was recording it in a bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was listening to that version, and then I found a better one.
Okay, maybe it was the version, but it sounds like he's in another room. It sounds like demos.
Terrible.
And there's hardly any music on it. The guitar is very much like... It's like a forest done 8 times, but slowed down. It's like a forest over and over again. I did like the piano intro, where whatever that first song is, where it just is the piano. I thought that was a nice melody. But I didn't hear any other real melodies or anything. And then I read that the band is getting upset, and they're trying to go in 2 different places. Robert Smith wants to sound like this, and the couple other the members want to go in a different direction, or maybe just a direction, because this sounds to me directionless. I did not care for this. And this is, to me, the worst Cure album of the 80s, including the 1979 one. Dusty Spins in the comments. Explain yourself. What do you have to say for yourself?
Jeez.
Wow.
I just did not. It's just boring. It just to me. And let me guess. This changed Craig's life again. Great.
You don't like Three Imaginary Boys?
Is it? What is that?
That's their
That's
first.
the first album, which is basically Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah,
Boys Don't Cry.
to me, it's Boys Don't Cry. I've never really heard that one. It's kind of like what they do, where they take singles and whatever and make it a different album. So I'm not as familiar with Three Imaginary Boys, but
Well,
yeah, I
they did
love
that.
Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, they did that.
Half the songs on there are my favorite Cure songs, and like I said, I love the Head on the Door. That's probably my favorite. Boys Don't Cry and Head on the Door are probably like this as far as my favorite Cure albums.
Great.
Disintegration is just totally different, so it's hard to kind of compare that. But that's just so atmospheric and so much is going on. This album is like the opposite of Disintegration. And then you have the ones like Pornography and Faith that are just moody. They have a mood to them. You have to be in the right mood for those. And then when they switch labels to Sire and they had the Top and all that, that's kind of more poppy kind of stuff. But this one just sounds like the same song over and over again, just slowed down to me. So I did not care for this. 2 rainbows.
Zing.
Yeah, again, with me looking like I don't like anything that everyone else likes, and I'm beginning to think this is being done on purpose.
Wait till you see my pick. Wait till you see my pick for next week.
Great.
Oh boy. Well, I was listening for a while to a version in which it was in my original notes for like the song 3. I wrote down sounds like recorded in a bathroom. Can't hear the vocals. And then something happened. My computer burped or whatever, and then I started listening to a different selection of songs, and they all said remastered next to them, and it matched the track list, on the record that I looked up in Discogs. So then I started listening to that. When I got to those songs that sounded like they were recorded in a bathroom, like it was Boston trying to be new wave, I realized, wait a minute, I don't hear that sound anymore. It sounds so much better. So that was whatever the remastered version is what I ended up listening to. And I did really, really like this release. I mean, the opening instrumental, very simple. It doesn't have a Cure sound to it at all, in my opinion. And I only have 2 Cure albums. I have 3 Imaginary Boys and I have Pornography. And some of the reissues that have come out have been just way too expensive. So I've been just kind of waiting for something to come along in the right price to pick up some other ones. But yeah, A Reflection, I wrote down, not very Cure-like. It was very soothing. And they had this like tinge of foreboding about it that I could feel. And then Play for Today. Now there's the signature guitar that I know from The Cure. I mean, yeah, a lot of their songs have that same style, and there's not a lot of variation in between songs with that, but it is a very distinctive style of playing. REM had a very similar kind of style of guitar playing that it's not quite jangle pop, I guess is what they called it, but it was very very recognizable. Secrets, very ethereal. It's got a simple rhythm. It has they have this way of creating tension. And then the way they relax the tension is they are better, in my opinion, at exploring whatever they're doing with the music. And then that releases the tension. Spoon, and I like Spoon. Spoon, though, is not very good at that because they have a tendency to create tension with some of their instrumental passages, and they never resolve it. And it always frustrates me. I'm like, hey, man, I want a piano solo here. Why aren't you doing a piano solo instead of the same plunking all the way through?
Interesting.
So Secrets really, to me, brought that out. In Your House, again, this brooding, this foreboding. And I started looking up some notes on the songs, and Robert Smith said it was about feeling uncomfortable around someone, but you keep going back. And because for a while I couldn't figure out what is this song about. It's just I just couldn't figure it out. Then three I said was the one that sounded originally like in a bathroom. The piano intro very spooky and layered, and
that's the one that sounds horrible on Apple Music. And then when I came home and listened to it on vinyl, it sounds great.
Right, because
the
first time
his vocals are distant, which is a cool effect. But on Apple Music, you couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear it at all.
Right,
it was
right. I wrote that down. Can't hear vocals. But then when I listened to the remastered version on YouTube, it came out much stronger. The final sound, very suspenseful piano. I wrote down Sunset Boulevard. That's kind of what it, made me think of, like the opening scene of Sunset Boulevard with William Holden face down in the pool. And then A Forest, of course. Now this was like their hit. This was a big hit for them. Really interesting song. I love the bass, very light touch with the bass in the beginning. And it develops a very strong groove. And here I wrote down the guitar solo it's a perfect tension breaker. That guitar solo at the end really alleviates, and it breaks the tension, but it doesn't eliminate the tension, which I liked about M. Very catchy hook, which is about his girlfriend. That's who M is, I guess. And
Mary.
At Night is I wrote crunchy. It's got a very crunchy sound to it. And then I read it was based on a short story by Kafka by the same name. And then what Robert Smith did is he reversed the roles. So he wasn't the observer telling people like Kafka was in the story. He was one of the watchmen in the story, observing, people in there. And that was kind of cool the way he did that. And then the closer, 17 seconds. For a long time, I was trying to count beats to see if there was some significance of the number 17. And I kept counting out, 8 beats, so there was no missing beat or an extra beat thrown in or anything like that. And then I find something where Robert Smith says, it's just an arbitrary number. Doesn't mean anything. So I'm like, yeah. But it's a nice, catchy song. Yeah. So I really liked the record. I do want to get it in my collection when I see one that's priced reasonably, and I'm going to give it 4 rainbows.
There's reissues of this now, I believe.
Yeah, but some of the reissues.
This one is pretty cheap, though. The other one, like the later ones, you're right, are $36 to $40.
Yeah.
These, I'm pretty sure, like the first couple you can get for like $21.
Yeah, this one's pretty inexpensive. I looked.
Yeah,
but that's probably the thing is I just heard maybe I just heard a bad version, but then again I heard the official digital version so they need to step it up. That's their fault.
Did you listen on Apple Music?
No, I listened on YouTube Music. But a lot of them have the same reference. It's the same.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, I
find
fault.
that
Apple Music is the worst of.
Was it the Cure?
Yeah, you got to stop listening to Apple Music. Yeah, we've discussed this before.
I know. I just hate having to change. I hate change.
I hated Apple Music because every time I got a new phone or new computer, my library would get erased.
Well, yeah. Apple Music is for people who just want to have new music, promoted to them, and they just want the ease of having all of their Apple products sync together and whatever.
Well, I had Spotify, but then when we had to dump Spotify, then I went to Apple. I tried Tidal for a while, and that was okay, but it was a little more expensive.
Tidal's the best for sound quality, definitely.
Yeah, but they didn't have everything. Like I remember, I did like the trial thing for a couple weeks, and
they all have their good points and bad points, and that's the bad point with Tidal is the selection. YouTube is the one for selection because it has pretty much everything.
Maybe I'll try that.
Well, the version I listened to, the remastered one, it was the Cure's channel
Right.
that had posted that.
Oh.
So
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's their official thing. It's their fault.
yeah.
I didn't just listen to something that some random person uploaded. So
Well, the first one
if they've got to
listened
realize this is the way people are going to be hearing their music, they need to step it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
they're going to be
Especially
getting two
with,
rainbows from everybody.
especially with a band that is so sonically superior. I mean, especially the later stuff too. I mean, wow. Yeah, they need to step it up.
And now Craig,
Gregory.
the guy who has
Naomi,
3 records of this. Wonder how he feels about it.
Good on my record. This
He
album,
hates it.
my life. Just kidding. This band changed my life. This album didn't, but this is my favorite Cure record. So
Really?
yeah, and it far surpassed.
Robert, just sit down. You look like you're about to fall over.
Just so y'all know, it surpasses Disintegration. So Disintegration was a commercial whatever, and I love it, but it's not their best album. And maybe 17 Seconds isn't, but there are far superior albums over Disintegration. So I've said that. And this was actually, so I had the Standing on a Beach, and this was the first full-length Cure record I ever owned. I remember saving my money. I got to go to a record store. I guess technically Pornography was also in that because I bought so I got 17 Seconds, Pornography, and Boys Don't Cry, which is not an album, Cure album. It's a compilation. Just for the record there. Anyways, this was the one that I listened to over and over out of those 3 that I bought at the exact same time. I don't know why. It's my favorite. It resonates with me. To me, it was something that I had never heard at that time. I was late. It was about 88 is when I really started getting into the Cure and really started getting before Disintegration came out. And I just needed to have everything by them. I was absolutely obsessed with Robert Smith. He was just a freaking genius god to me at that point in my life. But this was the album that kind of stuck out of those that I got, other than Standing on the Beach. That's a completely different story. That's a greatest hits. But Play for Today is just freaking brilliant. In Your House, see, I always felt like it was more of a haunting, and I know that that's not what Robert says about it, but to me it felt like he's haunting somebody, he's haunting a house, and kind of I envision ghosts kind of pretending to swim, I'm an entity, I'm floating, so therefore I'm pretending to swim as I'm in your house.
Can you imagine Robert Smith haunting your house?
Oh, I would be so excited.
I'd be scared. I'd be petrified.
No,
especially
all
now.
day long.
Maybe a young Robert Smith.
Well, yeah, young Robert, not 60.
No, I want hot
Robert
Smith haunting my house.
Yeah, we want that, Robert. A Forest is still just, to me, it's such an iconic song. It was so different than anything that was out at that time, in my opinion. And especially the way to hear that song, although the album version, in my opinion, is brilliant, live is where it's at. Even if you find a live recording of it, and very rare is it under 13 minutes when they play it live.
It's always 15, 20 minutes.
And when he will just shout over again and again and again and again and again and again, and then it gets higher and higher and higher, and it's just fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And that really is the way to hear that song. I love the album version, but we know I have a lot of Cure, so I have a lot of live versions of that song. And it's brilliant. M is probably my favorite on the record, then In Your House, then A Forest. I love the opening line, "Hello Image, sing me a line from your favorite song." It's fucking brilliant to me. At Night is another one, and then closes out with 17 Seconds, which I just think is a brilliant closer. And Cowboy Junkies actually covered 17 Seconds, and it is also fucking brilliant because Margot's voice on that song, and then just kind of the way they took it, it's just brilliant. So, I mean, it's not going to be surprising to anybody because this, again, it didn't change my life. The band did. This album didn't. But y'all know I'm giving it 5 rainbows. I feel like that's all I'm throwing out 5 rainbows all the time. But we are listening to albums that
You have not thrown out 5 rainbows all the time.
No, I remember
I
Curtis
did
Mayfield
that
super
too,
fun.
though. I did that too. What did you say?
Don't worry.
I was ignoring you, Fifth End.
Did a Cure album change your life? Any of them, or is it just the band as a whole?
I think it's just the band. I think it was the whole essence of Robert and just kind of, you know, especially growing up where I did, and there was nothing like that in my life.
Yeah.
And just this character came in that was just unlike anything I'd ever seen or witnessed, and I was just like flabbergasted by him and by the band in general. And of course, there's been so many different entities here. Like, I mean, there's none of the original members other than Robert, and well, Simon's back now, but he's out like every other month. So,
I would say the same thing. I don't think there's a single Cure album that I couldn't say what my favorite is or what their best is, or it's just the whole work encompassed. Everything is so brilliant, and they're also a little bit different and so moody and dark. And I love everything. I couldn't even tell you, like, if I were to walk over to my Cure section, which one I would pick out to play right now. It would be different every day, and it would be a favorite one.
And definitely, like, you know, like Head on the Door is another one that is just
it's so good.
Others, and very poppy for the time. The Top is the one that, like, I fluctuate on. I either hate that album or I really, really love it, because it's that is the one that is just really out there in their catalog. Other than
it's my
like, Wild Mood Things. I don't know, just such a great band. Let's see. When I
had similar experiences because I discovered them through MTV with Why Can't I Be You, and that's when I got this, even though it doesn't have that on there. And this was the kind of thing like you did. You know, I just had to get all the albums after getting that. Well, almost all of them except 17 Seconds. And after I got this, which actually is the cassette, and
the cassette is better too.
But yeah, it has "I'm Cold" on it. I love that song.
Yeah,
but
that is the version. Yeah.
What happened with me is I got this and I started talking about the Cure to this one guy in school, because that's how my school was. You had one guy that was into the Cure, and it was like a whispered thing, you know. Yeah, and he let me borrow the video of this. There's a videotape of this called something, Standing On. I don't remember what that is. Something similar.
It's actually Staring at the Sea, the Images is what.
And the Tim Pope videos on that was what really made me want to go out and get this. And wow, I mean, just the whole visual element and everything was just pretty incredible. But yeah, it was like 87 and then 88 when I started getting, and then I went out and got Boys Don't Cry and tried to get them, and you know, but it was all over. The next one was Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, and then the one after that was like Faith, and the one after that was the Head on the Disintegration was new. And so
I didn't buy any Cure until so many, it was very recently, but the first time I heard of them, I was working in a residential treatment center with abandoned and abused kids. And there was this kid in there who just was raving about the Cure. This would have been like 1980. And he was just like so totally into the Cure, and he was telling me about them and why they were so important to him. And, you know, he was already doing the mascara thing, you know, so this would have been, I don't know when Robert Smith started doing that. So I was working there from 78 until 81, I think. And so this was, you know, shortly, I guess, when he started doing that, because in the first record, he's not doing that. I don't know if he is in the second one. But anyway, so I just remembered that kid having such a strong and heartfelt reaction to their music, you know, and he was coming from a very terrible background. So the music really was special to him. But I didn't start listening to him until just maybe, I had the greatest hits. I had a CD version of their greatest hits, and I loved listening to that. But I never started looking into their discography until maybe 2 years ago.
I had that friend. I've talked about this before. How in the Steel Town school I went to, you didn't listen to the Cure or New Order and Depeche Mode. You got your ass kicked if you did that. And so I was in plays. He was in plays too. And I've got this funny pic because I took my camera to one of the play practices and was taking pictures of people. And I've got this funny picture. He's got on a button-down shirt and a Cure shirt under it. Something is the disease, but here's the cure or something, and it's got all their faces on it. And the picture is him going like this, like opening his shirt up, like revealing the secret of, because you can't wear that in the, normal.
He's coming out.
Right, normal classroom time. It was after school, extracurricular. It's just the theater people, and so he's opened his shirt and is revealing what's under it. So I just thought that really nails it. Just one picture, that really nails what the Cure was at that time.
I mean, I discovered the first one in this probably like 1982, and so I was like, I was probably a freshman. But then when I left high school and I went to college, my first roommate, freshman year in college, he was like a skater dude, and he loved the Cure and Joy Division, and the posters all over the wall, and he had the weird hair, and he wore eye makeup, and that's where I really got into the Cure. Like you're looking at probably end of 85 and 85, 86. We lived together, and I mean he turned me on to so much music, and that's where I really got into the Cure, and that's when they started to really take off too. I mean, they weren't popular when this album came out.
The three versions,
not really in the U.S.
because I didn't tell you why I have three different versions. So I actually have the deluxe that has the Cult Hero songs on it.
Oh, there is one on vinyl?
Yeah. So it's a double. The second record is all live.
Now, did you buy that in a store or did you have it mailed? Because I think you need to have the Cult Hero stuff mailed to you because, of the whole postman thing.
Right.
It's only fitting.
No, I think I actually bought this in the store. No, it was mailed to me, and the actual postman that was saying on it is
right.
But. And I also like it because it actually has the lyrics in it, and the original does not. So I actually have I have an OG Canadian pressing of 17 Seconds. And then this is actually called Happily Ever After. And this was done in 81, I think. And it's 17 Seconds and Faith together. So different artwork, and I can't remember the label this is on.
I know they had a release called Carnage Visors.
Yeah, it's actually
that was at the time only available on a cassette along with Faith. You couldn't get that on a
right.
CD.
It was the B-side of Faith. I actually have the deluxe vinyl of Faith that actually has Carnage Visors on it. So, and
I've never heard that.
That it's on A&M, this compilation, because every time I see A&M, I think of the Carpenters. So,
I just mentioned the Carpenters in my latest video.
You
Check
did,
it out.
and that was
You did.
I did not comment, but that was a great video.
Thanks.
See, now,
I would need to comment, but I watch it on my TV.
Yeah, me too. And it's like I have to remember to go back and comment on things later.
I go back and make some comments, and then I forgot. But
so the Cure, starts releasing records in 1979,
right,
and that's kind of when this whole new wave thing is starting to happen. But I don't think the Cure, to me, they're not new wave.
Yeah, they're new wave.
Yeah,
they're post-punk.
They definitely were post-punk.
Post-punk is new wave. Different word for it.
Wow.
I don't know.
Really? No, really?
New wave to me is like buoyant, and it's got a very distinct. I don't know. It's. Yeah, I
just remember the Warner Brothers labels they would put on promotional records where it's like, don't call it punk, call it new, and literally had Bugs Bunny on it saying, don't call it punk, call it new wave. Because they didn't want the DJs saying punk because punk had such a negative connotation at that time with the mainstream. So that's where the new wave. So basically, after punk is new wave. The post-punk is, to me, new wave. But yeah, I would definitely consider the early Cure new wave.
What about Susie and the Banshees? Do you consider that?
Oh, absolutely. That's I don't have them on an album, but I have some interesting promo CDs of Susie and the Banshees. Here's a sampler with
I
you
I
know,
love that you
their
just happen
biggest
to
song.
have that sitting right
I just
there.
happen to have that and this. Fear of the Unknown.
Oh, I love beer.
Susie and the Banshees there.
I
With,
think I would
Kiss Them
consider
for Me.
Sushi and the Banshees
Uh,
new wave, but I would not
Scream.
consider Joy Division new wave.
No.
I'm just gonna see.
yeah,
what
I don't know that much about Joy Division. I would consider them more early industrial or, kind of
Okay, what about this?
synth.
Do you consider
Yes.
this
That's
wave?
new wave. Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would consider that.
I
kind
consider
of
it
new
rock
wave.
and roll, but what do I know?
Yeah,
Um,
it's,
Just like
but
Elvis
I did
Presley.
not pull it. I did not pull
Very
it as
similar
a new
sounds.
wave record. I mean, a lot of guys stuff. No, I don't think of him as new wave.
Oliver's Army. Windows up. Windows up.
Love that record. What about this? New wave? Squeak?
No. No.
Oh, I don't think so either. Okay,
No.
good.
I don't even know that record. So
But like I'm saying, I
it's my
think in
favorite
the
Squeak-
United
favorite
States, a
Squeak
lot of
record.
stuff that from England that was considered pop in England is automatically considered new wave in the U.S. just because it was
Yes.
foreign and different. We're having like Loverboy over here and Night Ranger, and
Yeah.
when you compare that
To me,
to like
this is-
Elvis Costello,
Do you consider that
Yeah.
new wave, Richard?
isn't it?
I didn't pull it.
I mean, you can find lists on the internet where all of these things are considered new wave. I pulled some stuff that is like very borderline. Like, I've seen this on new wave lists. The Cars,
Yeah, the Cars. That's why they're not new wave. I didn't.
The Police, which by the way comes in 3 different colors. This is the yellow
Right.
one.
I didn't
The
even
Police.
think about the police.
And where is?
But yeah, Police were when they first came out. We would kind of consider them part of the whole new wave thing. And then after Zenyatta Vendetta, I think it was.
The first.
That's what I was going to say. Bands like this, I think, could have started being considered new wave, but their later stuff is definitely straight ahead pop rock, or even the Pretenders. A lot of people consider that first album new wave, and even though
What
I
about
consider
this?
that more of a
Yeah,
that's new
invented
wave.
yeah, that's new wave.
Invented new wave.
Yeah,
I'm trying to just grab things as you guys are mentioning. There's Susie. Sushi's already
Great record.
squeezed.
Yeah, we didn't consider that new wave.
this, to me,
I know. I'm just showing the things.
Yeah, that's later. Yeah, I wouldn't consider like the Tide is High new wave or Call Me, but yeah, their early weird stuff about oh, that's my favorite Blondie album.
It's a good record.
Yeah, this is the best.
I love it. Yeah.
I could
can't
have
go
pulled
wrong with
this
those
out from
first
our
three.
last show about the best of.
And there's an entire video disc that went along with this, that was actually a video disc, and later it was VHS, and now it's on a DVD that comes with the deluxe. Every song is a video. Every song on here has an actual video, which is kind of new wave-ish to do that. But yeah,
This
Blondie.
one to me is Devo. I got.
I'm Devo.
I have
That's-
the
that's not
new wave.
Devo. It's yellow though. This is
new
Devo.
traditionalists. I have.
Yeah, I don't have that. When I was going through my collection, I was going to pull that, and I was like, wait, I don't know now. I need to get that. Yeah.
My that
These are
one,
great
what is it?
reissues,
New
too.
Frontiers? Is that what that's called? Not that one. The other one. Mine's Warped.
This one is
So I've got
New
Warped
Frontiers.
New Wave.
That's new traditionalists.
Perfect.
And,
Yeah.
Traditionalists, yeah.
No,
this.
that's
This
to me,
is
which
great.
I think is their best album. But
I agree. I think it is too. Yeah.
it's an angry album.
And this
And
is
and I
on
like
it.
that about it.
Sweet.
We're through being cool.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
sweet.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I think this is
Wow.
this might have been a record store day release a couple of years ago.
But yeah,
But I
Missing
mean,
Person's definitely a.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
I
to me,
figured
this
somebody
is
would.
quintessential new wave.
It's a masterpiece.
This is what I really think of new wave.
It's an absolute masterpiece.
What about Duran Duran? Now there's a walking the
I
line
don't
there.
consider
Yeah.
them new wave. I don't
Yeah,
consider
but
them
their
new wave.
first few
Yeah.
records, yeah. I'm like,
I mean,
I
maybe
consider them-
kind of, sort of, but people would call this new romantic, and then you start getting these subgenres.
Oh,
And,
yeah, the whole-
but yeah, Duran Duran.
What else? We got this clearly.
I got a
We talked-
BBC Rock
Oh,
Hour of Missing Persons, so of one of their live shows.
This is another one where I may consider this new wave, but the Crush album, no.
No,
With the
no, it's
Terry
not.
Jam and production, and no. Jerry Jam and Terry Lewis, is that their names? With Human,
Is this how we're-
for God's sake.
Is this how we're going to show our new wave record?
It's Jimmy.
Yes.
Should we just
Keep
how about
moving
that?
along here.
Romeo
We're
Void.
deciding.
What is
Who is
that?
that?
Romeo
Void?
Void.
I don't have any
Record.
Romeo.
Maybe.
This might actually be a little bit of a comp. Because
That's
their
right.
records are weird. Like all their records like have different songs and different pressings and different. But I think this is this might actually be a.
No, that's one of their albums.
What about
Is
this?
it?
Now the Smiths, no, they're
No.
not new wave to me.
No.
They are.
This is what would be considered new wave in America, but nowhere else, probably. You know,
Yeah.
like the English people would not consider this new wave; they could consider it pop. You know, but it's
And I don't
weird.
have
It's
any
different. It's
Smiths.
This is a cool band, the 77s. You guys ever heard of this band?
no.
Really, really cool. New wave, a little punky though. Really, really cool band. Excellent.
Well, but
I
yeah,
think
that's kind of what the-
82. I think this came out.
B-52s.
B-52s. I think Craig showed a red one,
Yeah.
but yeah, the B-52s.
The
are they
red
new
one
wave?
is their
Yeah.
first one. So
No, the yellow one's their first. This is their second.
This is the first.
second.
But
I always get the two mixed up.
Yeah,
I
this
always
is
do.
Wild
I've
Planet
done it
is
in
the
many
second.
videos.
Yes,
I found
you
out he's not
have,
really
Brian.
wearing this, and
I've
neither
done it
is he.
twice in videos.
Yes, you have. Yeah, this is my favorite B-52s album.
I have the.
I was
yellow
never
one.
that into them. Yeah, the whole. I don't like his voice.
Well,
Fred?
Fred's kind of annoying at times.
Yeah,
but
real
the
annoying.
girls are
Ah,
really-
Thank you.
I like it.
I like
Hey.
Rome. He's not in Rome.
Yeah, like,
Now
It's
this
just
is
the
another quintessential new wave record to me.
Oh
Lena
wow,
Lovitch.
yeah,
What is it? I
Lena
can't remember.
Lovitch.
yeah.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
great too.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
yeah.
one is that? Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is the one with Lucky Numbers, which I love that song. Craig showed that single in a video, or maybe you showed the album, and I'd kind of forgotten
Probably.
about the song. And as soon as you showed that, I played it, and I kept playing it for like 2
Yeah,
weeks.
It's a great song.
it's a
There's
great
there's
album.
different remixes of this too. There's like 3 different versions of this album. I definitely prefer the U.S. mix over the English. There's 2 different English mixes, and there's a U.S. mix.
Well,
Get the U.S. one, America
Flock
Rule.
of Seagulls.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would
that
count
hair,
as new
yeah.
wave.
Yeah, this is Listen. This is I love their 2 big albums, but this is the one that has is it,
But you see now, Talking Heads, I do not consider them new wave.
this has Wishing on it.
Oh, Talking Heads are quintessential new wave. They're the definition of new wave.
Nah,
What are they then?
I think they're they're a genre all their own.
They are.
Good-
They
good
really
cop.
are.
They did something
it's
that
not,
was
because
so
every album is
completely
completely
different.
Every album is so different.
Well, yeah,
The
I don't
first
think you
album is,
could call like
funky
True
and-
Stories new wave, but this is definitely new wave.
I don't.
Speaking of
Yeah.
America, there's a map of it in
It's-
case
nah.
nobody knows what it looks like. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this album either. I really like their the first one and
debut.
Speaking in Tongues, and I like Little Creatures.
I like Little Creatures.
like
That's
this
a
one.
great album.
Mike does not like that album.
He loves
I
it.
think it's one. I think it's
No, it
their
doesn't.
Remain in Light. I think is their best album. Little Creatures is their number 2 album.
Remain in Light, Fear and Music are masterpieces.
Yeah,
It's
I would
actually
say
cool.
Little Creatures is probably my second favorite too. Second or third.
Patrick O'Hearn. I consider this very much new wave.
Oh, I don't know him.
He was a bass player with Frank Zappa,
But wait,
and
if
he
you,
was
don't think
also part of Missing Persons.
if you don't think the Talking Heads are new wave, then what are they?
I just
They're
think they're
the
a
Talking
genre
Heads.
all on
Oh.
their own. I don't think the B-52s are new wave. I think
Well-
they're just they've created something all their own.
But if you had
the way
to,
I've
if
always
you
looked at
okay,
those
here's my.
bands.
This isn't my scenario, but you own a record store. You've got to put the B-52s and Talking Heads in a section. What section do they go in?
Pop.
for B-52s.
Oh, so they're right next to Kim Carnes.
Yeah.
And,
Pop rock.
Sometimes there's just bands.
Oh,
that
so they're
just
next to
create their
Huey Lewis in
own-
the News then, pop rock. Same sound, Huey Lewis.
No, I also don't go
Heads.
to record stores that. I almost pulled that.
Yeah,
I've
I was
never
thinking
heard that.
doing
People in the UK will definitely say that's
The,
not new wave.
Side 1, except
Rob
the
Walker's gonna
Safety
go
Dance
nuts
is
that
the
you
only
just
good
showed that.
song on side 1. The rest of the songs are garbage, but side 2 is actually a pretty good side. The side 1 is filled with songs where they're trying to sound like somebody else, and then side 2 they pull it off themselves.
Berlin. Yeah.
Berlin,
Oh,
are
yeah.
they new wave?
New wave. Yeah,
Not
Yeah.
yet.
definitely.
I need that record.
How
Yeah,
about Japan?
You've said that before. I don't know if I've seen this one, but I see their albums sometimes for like $3
No.
or whatever.
Yeah, that one. I
Not
haven't-
this one.
Now, I used to see it for $2 all the time. But now,
See, I'm not,
because I've seen it at like $60.
I
Do
need
you
to get
want
some
just
Japan.
any Berlin or just that one?
That particular album.
Oh, okay.
I need to get Japan, but
Japan,
I'm not familiar
Syndrome.
enough with their
I don't know
music to
Japan.
categorize them yet.
You could start
But-
with this, or the
But
Festo
yeah.
that I showed last week. Yeah, great.
But I
band.
don't think I would call them new wave, just based on what I've heard.
A little bit.
Kate Bush, is that what that is?
That is Nina Hagen.
Oh,
Nina,
I couldn't
yeah,
read it.
Definitely.
Yeah, Nina Hagen.
Yeah, she's like Lenya Lovitch. She's definitely new wave.
Yeah.
Is Kate Bush
They
new
did a
wave?
song together. Kate is. She's another one that's.
She's kind of her own thing going on.
She's all
Yeah.
on
This
her
is
own.
new wave.
Oh yeah, the Go-Go's.
Now I just need a pink cover.
Yeah, I've got the blue one too. 2 different versions of this album as well, with different mixes of a
I grabbed
couple
Talk
of
Show.
songs. I don't have
And
Talk
you're-
Show. I have these 2.
I have all
Yeah.
of them actually.
I have Beauty and the Beat. I didn't even think about pulling that. It's a good one.
And to me, that's definitely.
Talk. Are they new wave?
That's pop.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
pop.
that's what I thought too.
That's
It's pop, and
straight
I saw
pop.
this on a new wave list though, and I'm like, I don't think that's new wave.
So,
Yeah.
It's my
About,
life though. I love that song.
about Tones on the Tail. Tones on the Tail.
I grabbed this Talk by the way.
Well, it literally says pop on it, so it's self-describing.
Wow.
I have
Wow.
2 here that have Talk on them.
This is, I guess, new wave.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
pop. That's just Australian pop.
People in Australia, they're gonna go nuts if we call it that.
That's not new wave.
That's just
That
Australian.
is new wave, but the Talking Heads and B-52s aren't. That's insane.
No, B-52s are, but Talking Heads
Oh,
are not.
okay.
Okay, I
These
got one
guys
more.
are kind of borderline. Speaking of Australia, what about NXS?
No, that's just rock and roll.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just rock.
That's what I thought too. Not new
Also,
wave.
also not
Again,
not
saw it
Rock and
on
Roll
several
Hall of
lists
Fame.
though.
Yes. I think some of their older stuff, I feel like this kind of is. So.
It's a weird dance remix of NXS album. Don't see that too often.
Adam and the Ants.
Adam Ants.
I would say Adam and the Ants is Adam Ant, not so much. You know, later on when he's solo and he's got the pop, strip and stuff like that, I don't think is new wave.
Yeah.
But I would definitely call Adam and the Ants new wave.
Yeah.
I love Strip. And I love Baby
I
Loves.
almost pulled my
Yeah.
entire
Oh, I did pull
80s
it.
section out.
You can
My,
be
yeah, right. It's just L80s all the time.
Okay, they call him New Wave too. And look, I have the sexy cover.
Oh my! Wow. Yes, I don't have that. I have the later cover.
Yeah, I have the sexy one that does
Wait.
not have.
People call him New Wave.
I've seen that on a
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Look
Who
at
is
that
that?
knot.
You're-
Sexy knot. It's Idol, but look at his sexy
Billy
little
Idol.
belly there and his little knot there. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm a gay. And it does not have.
But seriously, I think that's why they
Dancing
changed
with
it to this, because literally they thought that cover was too gay.
Yeah.
I mean, it,
You
it
know?
is.
Same
That has
album.
doesn't that have Dancing with Myself on it though?
Yeah, there's several versions of this album too. Yeah, it's now
Mine-
with Dancing with Myself
Yeah,
included.
Mine does not have Dancing with Myself.
What is that, Richard?
Fabulous Poodles.
Oh,
don't know them.
Fabulous! I know the name.
Yeah, I know the name too. I recognize the cover. I just don't know that much about
And
them.
I mean, when you look at their, the way they are dressed, I don't know. To me, it is kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
New
looks a little
wavy.
Elvis Costello-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
Would we
Violent
consider-
Femmes.
Oh,
Wow. I've got the naked. I've got a couple of theirs. I forgot to pull them.
Punk.
I don't consider Violent Femmes new
Yeah, that's
wave
more
either.
punkish kind of
Yeah.
Punk pop.
acoustic
Yeah.
punk.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Acoustic punk.
I don't know.
This is a cool band. This is a band called Translator. They were pretty cool. I think this might be their only record. They're
I'm not
interesting.
familiar
They're
with
really
them.
cool. But they're definitely less, maybe more on that punk new wave side. That's all I pulled. I didn't pull any.
New Order. I would kind of consider a little new wave-ish, but not.
It's more like synth pop dance music to me.
Yeah,
it's more
because
like
a lot of the stuff that was coming out that was considered new wave is, to me, the synth pop. Synth pop went its own way, like Depeche Mode.
Again, UK versus US.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about the lyrics too. If you've got strange lyrics, that makes you exactly. I pulled all of those as well. There's that
you think
one
Culture Club is new wave?
No, I was saying they're kind of like New Order in the fact that it's more leaning towards pop.
Yeah.
But I saw Culture Club on lists. New wave.
You own way too many Culture Club records.
I've got those three and this one. That's got the same songs on it.
I probably have more than you, but
they only have 3, right?
They have more than 3.
0.
The only other records I have are my Mo-Fis of the B-52s.
What other Culture Club is there after waking up on the house on fire?
Those Mo-Fis of the B-52s sound spectacular.
I grabbed way too many because you go, no, I'm the new wave.
They're some of the best sounding Mo-Fis. And we knew those were digital back then. They're great.
Right, because they just say Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. Yeah. They don't say original master recording.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And there's a few more albums after this one, too.
Really?
Yeah. This is From Luxury to Heartache. This came out in 86.
Oh, wait. That's a best of, right?
No.
Oh.
This has got Move Away and...
It's the worst of.
God Thank You, Woman, and Sexuality.
Move Away, yeah. I forgot all about that. About this. Speaking of talking heads.
I used to have that on CD, but I don't have it anymore.
God,
but yeah, that's
that's new wave.
Yeah.
So this is new wave, but the talking heads.
It's not. But aren't they kind of the same?
Because it's poppier. It's poppier.
This is like dance club music.
It's pop.
Yeah. This is almost world music.
New wave was pop music that just lit its hair out.
World music.
KTP.
Kissing the Pink.
Oh, Kissing the Pink. Gross.
Maybe.
I love this. Oh, certain things.
That's all right. I was thinking it.
Okay, maybe the name of the band. I love the song. Certain Things Are Likely. It's so fantastic.
I almost pulled
Blue Angel.
I think
this is one of the ones I saw on a list, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think they're new wave.
Yeah,
this is just pop music that's gay. It's the gay with the pink triangles. I mean, how many pink triangles do you need? We get it, you guys. Come on. And then I think there's a big pink triangle on the thing.
Warning,
yeah, there's a big ass pink triangle there too.
Warning, this record is gay.
There's one on this one too.
What's the movie? There's a gay movie where the kid pulls that out and or something. I don't remember, what is that?
Just another gay movie, or is it?
No, it's one of the earlier ones. Edge of 17? Is that
Edge of 17?
Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I loved that movie.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
These guys.
And he in the Edge of 17.
What was that?
Depeche Mode.
See, no, Depeche Mode. No, I don't consider them new wave.
I saw Eurythmics on a list too. I saw them on the list, and I'm like, I don't think they're
I
new
didn't
wave.
pull my Eurythmics out because
that's more like pop.
We're gonna get a lot of comments on this segment because we're forgetting so many artists.
I still have like 50.
Well, I don't have a lot of
Blue Angel. I saw Cyndi Lauper on a new wave list. I'm like, that's not
Cyndi Lauper right there.
Yeah,
that's pop. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is Blue Angel is more like
Cyndi Lauper is pop.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper right here.
Yeah, I don't have that. I want to get that at one point.
Yeah.
I heard that's really good.
Last time I looked, it's kind of expensive. And
it is.
Yeah, I got this for $1.
If I could turn back time.
I know, right? And
I would raid the dollar section.
Yeah, and it's a gold stamp promo.
Yeah. Can you imagine being able to go back to 98 or 2002 or something and be able to go into a record store for an hour? I would bring like $600 with me, and I would walk out with I would walk out with a carload of records.
You'd walk out with 1,000 records.
Yeah, it'd be
and
insane.
also, this has the original version of Maybe He Knows, which is on True Colors.
Yeah.
See, I didn't pull that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's ska.
It's ska. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more ska.
I see. I don't. Mirror in the Bathroom.
What a
is ska to me.
great record.
Hey, this is a great
Yes,
record.
it is.
I love that.
Love
And Special Beat Service. Oh, those are
Mhm.
such great albums.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really good.
See, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna.
And you see Ecstasy. That's not new wave.
No, I think so. But
That's more alternative, I would say, because it's a little later, right? That's like saying Red Hot Chili Peppers is new wave. It's too late for new wave, right?
No one would say that.
This was like '79.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no one would, oh,
Yeah, Ecstasy has been
Yeah, this
around.
came out
I
in
thought they were more
79.
like 86, 87.
No,
Oh, okay.
and
No,
that's
the
not
early
even,
stuff.
That's not even their first record. So,
But I think that kind of with that XTC, I think it kind of falls into that squeeze like genre of that's British
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah.
It's British pop. I mean, I could be wrong. If Rob Walker's watching,
And he doesn't. You got to have the hair.
He
You
will
got to
set
at least
us
have the
straight.
hair. Got to have the hair. Echo and the Bunnymen. Is that what that was?
Ian, yeah,
Yeah, I
And
think that's new wave.
another gold stamp
Again,
promo that I paid.
The hair. You got to
$2
have the hair.
and the fancy that shit too.
Well, with that kind of hair, then you would have to include
Ultravox.
Jesus and
I
Mary
almost
Chain,
pulled Ultravox.
and they're
Yeah.
definitely not new wave.
They're too late.
Yeah, they're too late. That's more alternative.
No,
Just-
they started in '79 or '80, didn't they?
I think the first one came out. It's later than we think because I used to think the same thing. But I think the first album came out in like maybe
Psycho Candy was the first
84.
album, right?
yeah, it's like 85, maybe 84.
84, 85, I think. Yeah.
No credibility.
just-
You got to come out in 78, 79 if you're going to be new wave.
What else you got,
This is
Craig?
Well, this is Thompson Twins. This is their first one, a product of
'85. Okay.
Oh, I don't have that.
Originally 6 members. Thompson Twins, originally 6 members, and Alana was not originally in the
That's a
band.
lot of that's a lot of twins.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Dolby.
Thomas Dolby, yeah. I don't have any Thomas Dolby.
I don't have any Thomas Dolby either, but that would be new wave in my book.
Aliens ate my Buick. Thomas Dolby.
Yeah, that's new wave.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time some silly radio DJ in the 80s played the Thompson Twins and goes, "It's the Thompson Twins, but there's 3 of them!"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
well,
like
maybe they
every
should have
time.
that with the
It's
first
like you're
song.
rocking with Dokken every time. Every
I
time.
love the
It's Jethro Tull, although I cannot figure out which
Darling
one's
Bud.
Jethro.
But another
Darling
pop,
Buds? I don't know that.
Yeah. pop set, and then another one with pop art Transvision Vamp.
Ooh, that was like a one of my favorite all time favorite albums.
It's their best album.
It's their best album. Yep.
And then
So good.
The
I don't
Tom
get-
Robinson Band had some later records that I don't like, and they're definitely, new pop. But I guess that's not new wave. I mean, because he was punk. Tom Robinson
Yeah.
Band was
Mhm.
definitely punk.
Yeah.
But then some of his early
Dream
'80s
Academy.
material is like,
The Dream
What is that?
Academy.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
kind of popish too, though. I
It's
don't.
kind of dreamy
I
pop,
think
man.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive was on some list too.
Yeah,
I would call
I'll-
that's like Culture Club. That's more like
Yeah,
dance.
but they also put this
Yeah,
band
yeah,
on there
yeah.
too.
You're right. Yeah.
And this is
They-
one of their only good albums, but they have them on the list too.
It's-
You too.
Yep.
It's their best album.
Well, and then War, but
Yeah, War. October's good too.
Stephen Tintin Duffy.
But...
I
Don't know that.
one.
You with your mouth, your love is better than wine. Wine is all I have. Will your love ever be mine? Hello, it's Tintin. I love it. And look, $3 I paid for this. I saw it not too long ago, and it was $45. I'm like, for Tintin?
Jesus.
Someone's gonna know that.
$45 for Tintin? No. I don't have. Well, they had them on the list too. Are they new wave? I don't know. They're pop.
No, that's pop.
Bananarama?
Yeah.
No, that's pop.
Yeah.
See, now we've crossed over. There's such a fine line, but it's either punk,
Like,
pop,
I feel like
new
they
wave,
are.
or punk or pop.
Well, there was a bar in Tucson when I was going to the University of Arizona. So this would have been 1979, 1980, 81. And I can't remember the name of the bar, but it was right across the street from oh, yeah, that's what they were called, the Wildcat House. And they had a New Wave Wednesday. And what happened is they would, the dance floor at like 10 o'clock, I think it was, they would clear the dance floor, the lights would go out, a American flag would drop with the spotlight on it. They'd play the national anthem, and then boom,
God.
they would launch into something like Men Without Hats or, whatever, and that's how they started, New Wave Wednesday.
That's so bizarre.
Oh yeah.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood?
Yeah.
Kind of middle of a...
Yeah, they have
This,
them on the list too.
this album right here, I think, really shows a lot of what New Wave is in just one big fail sweep. I've showed this before. This is Urga Music War soundtrack. Look at that. Look at those bands. That's like New Wave, a lot of them. Oingo
yeah.
Boingo, Gary Numan we showed earlier. Klaus Nomi, definitely.
Klaus Nomi.
Oh, I didn't pull my Klaus Nomi record.
Yeah, I didn't pull my Klaus Nomi.
Wall of Voodoo.
What was I thinking?
Devo X
I did not
is on
pull
here.
Wall of
Remember
Voodoo.
X?
Wall of Voodoo
But,
is
yeah.
not New Wave. They're avant-garde synth pop.
Which is New Wave. So yeah, Gang of Four, Para Ubu.
Oh, Gang of Four, really?
Yeah, a
'Cause
lot
I
of
almost
Steel
pulled
Pulse.
Gang of Four.
And
but I
Alley
think-
Cats, they're just straight up punk.
Yeah, they're more.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Gang of Four in there, but I almost pulled Gang of Four, and then I was like, no, this is punk.
Yeah.
Oh, did
That's
I just
a great,
see? Did I
that's
see
a
Big
great
Country
track
in
listing
there?
on that
Craig?
record.
What?
Did I just see Big Country in your little stack there?
No, it might have been if it's
I
blue.
think that's probably punk.
Oh, damn.
That's
what-
probably pop. Big country, I would say.
Especially
There's my
the
Boingo.
crossing.
Yeah.
My favorite Boingo album. And then Only Aladdin.
Hi,
I
Terry.
would like to start getting some Oingo Boingo. I do not have any. And
I'm just gonna flash these because I brought all of these upstairs. I'm gonna show them. Damn it!
Yeah, I'm done. So
See, I think Aha is, and especially
Aha.
Scoundrel Days, which is my favorite album of theirs. Alphaville,
Pop. Yeah, just like Aha.
Modern
What?
English.
Oh, Robert just got a.
Yeah.
The Raspberries
Yeah.
Pop.
Let me live in my damn fantasy bubble where everything is fucking new wave. Okay.
What about Van Halen?
Van Halen is totally new wave.
1984 pop.
Yeah, totally. Well, nobody
I
mentioned.
mean, they did come out in 1978, and they were different. They were the way they dressed was very new wave. A lot of the time. Eddie Van Halen's guitar looks very new wave, with the red and the.
Ice House.
It's all over you, Electric Blue.
So good and crazy.
I would think that's pop.
Yeah, but it was in the list. So Haircut 100.
That's new wave.
yeah.
Yeah, I go with New Wave on that. Yeah, definitely.
What about Split Ends?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah.
New Wave. Yeah.
The Howard Jones was in the list too. Human Lib, definitely the first album.
Yeah.
I didn't look up any of the lists. I just kind of was going
Yeah,
by.
I just.
There were
Went
so
to
many
the
millions of different lists too. Information Society.
Don't know them.
Dancy
No Information Society.
Pop.
I want to know what y'all thinking.
Yeah, that's a pop dance club thing.
Well, and Everything About the Girl was also in like several lists.
They were. I almost pulled that.
Joy Division, we already talked about them.
Wow, you got to put all these records back.
I
Greg.
do.
I'm
Midnight
like putting
Oil.
them back now, like one
Yeah,
at a time.
great.
Midnight
Yeah,
Oil's
So I
not.
keep walking off camera.
Midnight Oil is
Really?
not new wave.
Mighty Lemon Drops.
Yeah, we're getting desperate now. None of these are new wave.
Oh my god! I'm
One
gonna need
left.
another
What is
drink.
My nose really itches. No, really. So does my eyebrow. I might need to pick a booger.
Did you ever have those people that had the over the top middle finger, like you do stupid stuff like?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got one of those.
Yeah, you pull it out of your pocket.
Yeah, I still do.
Read between the lines. Remember that
Yeah.
one? Read between the lines.
Read between the line. What about people that flip up like that?
I like the.
Okay, yeah, it's better like this,
Yeah. Speaking, I showed Leonard Skinner earlier.
right?
Yeah, thanks for that.
He's got a good one. I think that's a pretty good example. Where'd he go? There he is. The guy with the sunglasses.
Oh, he's like, hey, what's up, bitch? Okay.
Okay.
What?
All quiet. Is that all of them?
What are we?
Yeah,
That's all I got.
That's pretty much.
Wrapping up the new wave with Leonard Skinner.
That'll do it.
Erasure.
I don't wanna bring up-
Close it with Erasure. New wave.
I don't want to bring up a topic that we didn't discuss in the pre-show meeting, but Richard and I went to see a concert together the other
You
night.
did.
Yes, that
Yeah,
was a great
speaking
show.
of Leonard Skinner, how do you
Skinner
feel
was
about
there?
that band? We can just do this real quick, and then we'll move on to bigger and better things.
Come here, boo boo.
Well, I didn't think they were much like Leonard Skinner. I thought they were much more like the Allman Brothers. I seriously felt like, and also Midwestern rock and roll. I mean, because they're
From Canada.
but even bands from Michigan and from Illinois, there's a sound of rock
We
and
should
roll
say who
from
they
the
are.
70s. Right.
should
Well,
say
we'll get to that. But
That one band.
there's a sound of 70s rock and roll, like Grand Funk Railroad and Bob Seger, and then you've got Bachman Turner Overdrive, and then you've got Guess Who. That's what part of what the band is, the Sheepdogs. That's part of what they're doing. But man, there were times where I've never seen Dickie Betts and Dwayne Allman play together. And I felt like, or with Greg Allman, and I felt like, wow, I feel like this is the closest I'm ever going to get to
I thought their
listening to them.
guitarist was awesome.
And he's brand new. He just joined
really?
the band within the last couple of months.
Really, really good.
And
I
they've
thought,
got
he was,
an
I thought he was the highlight of
amazing,
the whole thing. This is a band
amazing
called
repartee.
This is a band called the Sheepdogs. I believe they're out of Montreal, Canada.
No. They're from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Okay. And I
One.
Like the
first
Guess
of all,
Who.
First of all, thank you for saving me a spot on the railing. That was very nice of you. Because I got there a little late, and a great spot, great theater. I thought they were really good.
Yes.
Really good.
I'm definitely buying their albums.
Yeah, I bought the new one. The new one, they have a lot of records.
Oh, they've been around since like 2005.
They probably have 7
Oh, so
records.
long.
Yeah. You were in high school, Greg.
Oh yeah, I was totally in high school in 2005.
But I remember when their first album came out, because when I saw the artwork for the first album, I was like, wow, I know this band. I've seen them. Maybe I've heard them. And I put it on, and I was like, it rang like I kind of knew who they were. But then I put the new record on, and the new record is a 1977, 78 rock and roll vibe. It screams 1978, and it's really, really good. I bought it online. It's not here yet. Hopefully this week. But it was terrific. They have that kind of that southern rock feel to them, the Leonard Skinner, Allman Brothers, 38 Special, that kind of feel to them. And I thought they were great. They were really, really good.
They dressed like I did when I was in high school. That's the clothes I wore.
It was great. You also dressed in theme for the concert, and you wore the same thing.
Yes. I don't even remember what I was wearing that
I
night.
don't either. I'm joking. But no, it was fun night. It was really cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
they were tight. They were very tight.
Really tight. Really tight.
And did you think that there was at that one song where they were doing the solo, they were playing back and forth, and then the rest of the band was like ready to like wind the song up, but then they kept playing.
They just kept going.
And then you could tell the bass player and the keyboardist and even the drummer were like watching them because they were like, okay, we missed our cue.
What do we do?
When are we going to, they played along. So they started watching them real closely. When are you guys done? That was cool.
They're really, really cool late 70s vibe, which is I especially on the new record. The previous ones that I've heard, not quite as much, but the new record, it feels like it came out in 78. It's classic. It's classic rock. Yeah.
What's it called?
Yeah,
so I know what to put on the screen.
I think it's just called the Sheepdogs, isn't it? Richard, can you look it up?
The new record.
Here, I will put it here.
Richard can look it up.
Yeah, I'm going to do a quick look up here.
Speaking of missing cues, though, we did the same thing we did last week. We reviewed an album, and they did not say what the next album we were going to review would be.
Well, we can. I was going to mention.
So we can do that now.
Nope.
Cool.
My review for you guys is Spoon Killed the Moonlight. Interesting that Richard brought up Spoon earlier.
What year is that?
And of course, you pick a record that I don't have.
And I did hear their Hot Thoughts album when I was doing my hot sauce video, which sounds, after you say hot sauce a bunch of times, when you say hot thoughts, it sounds very strange. Hot Thoughts.
I don't know what year this is.
Spoon.
Early 2000s?
Kill the what?
Kill the Moonlight.
Kill the Moonlight.
I don't have a lot of Spoon, but of course.
This is probably
I have this one.
This might be their second full-length record, maybe third full-length record. They had a couple of EPs early on. Probably their third full-length record. And I will tell you how I feel about it in another time.
And what did we give The Cure? It ended up getting 15, right?
That is a true answer.
Yes, 15 for The Cure.
Wow.
The same as Yazoo. And my stars were the same. Isn't that interesting? For Yazoo.
No, that's New Wave.
Yeah, I was going to grab...
Yeah, that would be New Wave.
I did want to mention...
Yeah, none of us pulled it.
I was actually gonna grab You and Me Both, but I was like, we just talked about them last week. But I do feel like maybe Richard and Robert should listen to You and Me Both, though. It's completely different. Like, their second record is nothing like their first one.
I end up getting. I found it for $2, and it's a mint condition copy. And it's a Netherlands pressing of Alison Moyet's Alf album.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I saw you post that. Man.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
I thought it was just kind of 80s.
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very, very 80s. Again, the music isn't good enough for her voice on that either. I mean, it's more music going on, but it's this typical synthy kind of pop, straight down the middle of the road pop music.
Her album.
I'd like to hear something maybe later. Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to hear something later.
Better. Actually, check out. This might seem kind of cheesy, but if you really want to kind of like hear her voice and how she uses it, check out the album Voice. It's a cover album, but she does like Elvis Costello. There's French songs like.
Yeah, so you automatically kind of are more familiar with the songs going in and. Just kind of tell her interpretations.
I mean, she does like standards like The Windmills of My Mind and Bye Bye Blackbird, but it's done with this symphony. It's just, if you really want to hear Allison's voice, like I think that's a really good way to do it. Like her albums, like Essex is a really good one.
That's probably her biggest selling solo record is Essex.
That's interesting that she does The Windmills of Your Mind because I compared her to kind of like a newer version of Dusty Springfield last time. And
it's really
Dusty Springfield does
you'll have to stream it because it's impossible to find it on vinyl now. But it's.
I mean, Essex had a bunch of hits on it too. I mean,
she also redid "Ode to Boy," which was a Yazoo song that is on Essex.
I love her album Home Time, which
That's a really good
probably
one.
didn't sell anything, but her vocals on that are gorgeous, and it's got more of a bluesy jazz feel to it. It's really good. That's definitely my favorite.
So now it's time for this scenario. What album
Oh,
would you
yeah.
pull?
Dear God, the scenario I forgot.
Yes, and the album that I forgot to put what we were doing, but the album that I was thinking of was you just bought a brand new record frame, just like the ones back there. And so this is you got to put an album on your wall that will be literally suitable for framing. What album would you pull to put on the wall? And of course, you leave the record out and put that in the show. You can still listen to it, but what album cover
Because I
would
have
you
an
put on the
album
wall?
that's already picked for this, but I have yet to buy the frame.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay, so
we're ready.
albums that are that's suitable for framing. You just got a new record frame like the ones back here. You can see that I've already framed like one of the best ones I think is the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Bold as Love, because you can get double frames as well. And for mine, I would need one of those because I would frame, and I know Richard had showed this before, the Osibisa album, their debut, with the flying elephant on it. And of course, you open it up and it's an entire photo there. This is by Roger Dean, who did a lot of the Yes covers. I'm a big fan of Hypnosis covers too, but those are usually more clever. This is just more like artwork. Hypnosis does a lot of the Pink Floyd and Scorpions and whatever.
It's a beautiful cover.
Yeah,
I bought that record just because of the cover.
Yep, me too. And it's a great album too. We
is.
talked about it before with the
familiar
kind
with
of the world music and the African percussion and stuff. But yeah, Osibisa, their debut, I would put that in a double album frame.
There's
In
a
fact, if I get another
fantastic
one, that's
book.
what's going to happen actually. So that would be my choice.
This is a great book, you guys. If you're into like album artwork and stuff, I don't know if you guys have seen this. The Hypnosis album.
Oh, yeah.
Album artwork. This is great, and you can find this used for $10. But it goes through all like the Pink Floyd records, Bad Company. It's got everything in here. It's
I've
really,
just got the Pink
really
Floyd
cool
one that goes through all of the
I've
Pink
never seen
Floyd
that.
albums, album
Nice.
covers.
Yeah, this is the complete Hypnosis catalog.
Oh, wow.
With a forward by Peter Gabriel, but it's got everything in here. I mean, it's a great book, and you can find this super cheap. I think this is actually a library copy. Yes, it is. It's from the Denver Public Library.
Oh, well, they're probably wanting that back.
Yeah, I didn't steal it. I got it on eBay.
Oh, sure.
Never mind.
They're still probably wanting it back.
Yes.
They probably are.
I have
you
one
can
of
get this cheap.
the worst album covers of all time, but I couldn't find it. So it's
What
over
is
there.
it?
It's like terrible. It's got the worst album covers of all time.
Oh, the book. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a book?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
book.
fantastic. I would love to have
It's
that.
it's got some real. I thought it was right over there, but I lost.
I have the greatest album covers of all time. I should have referenced this first.
I
There might be
have that
something
one,
better in
too.
here, but
Yeah, I think I have that.
again, these are more clever stuff. The Sex Pistols and the baby on the front of Van Halen and the baby on the front of Nirvana and all that kind of stuff. Not really in a frame type stuff.
No.
But who's next?
Well, I already have one record that's in one of these frames. Frank Zappa had with the Chunga's Revenge. That's like a red cover, and it's a photo that somebody snapped of him yawning. And
Let's put that in a frame.
that there was an alternative color variant of the cover that was a British release, and it was kind of an olive yellow instead of red. And so I got one of those and put that in the frame. And I'm waiting to do another. This is another Frank Zappa alternative cover. If you're familiar with the cover for Weasels Ripped by Flesh, this is a Neon Parks cover that
Great.
that he did. I've got the original, and then I got the Zappa Records release. But in Germany, apparently, they thought that record cover was just a little too risque for them. They wanted an alternative cover. And this is the alternative cover they came up with.
Yeah, that's not as risque at all. Somebody caught in a mousetrap.
Right, it's a doll that's bleeding. It's also on the back, you know. So I ordered this record just for framing. When I get another frame, I will put this one up, and those will be my 2 records for that. But yeah, just
Nice.
and it's the German pressings. Have you noticed they put this like laminate on the cover?
Yeah.
And so this is like starting to peel away, so I need to get it framed anyway so that it protects the cover. But it's kind of like, they put this plastic, it's stuck on the very flimsy cardboard.
And it's peeling off, really?
Yeah, you know how like they did that too with certain paperbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that same laminate, very thin. With age, it starts to pull away.
It dries out, and it just probably flakes and peels off. Yeah,
I have a Hawkwind album that's doing that. But I had this book too. This is The Face of Rock and Roll. My brother got this for Christmas, and like, why would you get my brother something? You would give this to me for Christmas. And there's literally a Super 8 film of me arguing with my brother that this should have been given to me on Christmas. But this has that. I'm trying to find it, but you just showed it, so it doesn't really matter. But it was always my goal to have every single one of these albums, but this has that Frank Zappa Weasels Rip My Flesh in here, and that's why that was the first Frank Zappa and Mother's album I ever heard, and that's why it was a long time before I heard another one, because it's basically an album of outtakes, which I didn't realize at the time. So it's like my first Frank Zappa was outtakes, so good times with that. But yeah, great book here. Given to my
great
brother
closing
for Christmas.
song, right? Just total noise at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank Zappa.
We'll be reviewing that next week, Craig.
Who's next?
I could go next. I could go next because I've never been a big framing albums person. I don't know why. I thought about it because I got frames, I got posters, I got concert posters everywhere. But albums, I've never really thought about framing. But what year did I buy this? I probably bought this in 99 or 98. It's the only album I've ever bought framed or bought to frame, and that was my Butcher shot. It's in bad shape, and I think I paid $600 at the most. I think it might have paid $500, but. As a Beatles fanatic when I was a kid, I just had to have a copy of this record, and I finally got one, and I put it in. I've never played it. Don't know. It probably sounds like shit. But yeah, it's the only one I've ever framed. It's the only one.
Mine was free, and I threw it away. I told that story before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know that story.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, it's the
all
only
right,
one.
that leaves Craig.
Yep, so I've been needing to get a frame for this. I have lots of albums framed. It's what I do. But so this is Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott's last, not their most recent, but the album before Manchester Calling. Shane got this for me, but as you can see, there are some signatures. This is my autograph copy of this, and it's still sealed. Well, it's fallen, like, I don't know. I might just open it when I frame it.
How did they sign it if it was sealed?
They sign them and then they seal it.
Oh, is that how they do it?
Yes. Shut your face.
And if you see the high price on Discogs, people that are pricing their albums, it probably means it was autographed or sealed. Stop pricing things based on the absolute highest Discogs price or even higher, please. Thank you.
That's
that public service announcement was brought to you by Robert Fitton.
Right.
Maybe I should frame because I have like 7 autographed Gary Numan records, and maybe I should frame those.
Yeah,
maybe I should frame those.
I've just got a lot of these frames because there's, I would love to have concert posters and stuff like that, but there's just not room. There's just it's the total amount of room that I have above there.
Yeah,
that makes me want to do that.
I could probably do that actually. You guys just gave me an idea.
I have posters that I would love to hang, but my apartment's too small. I don't have enough wall space.
Be careful with the the record frames. They have those things that go here and here and here to press the records up against them. It will actually, kind of go into the cover and make an indentation. Like my original Nirvana from 1991 has that on there now. Thank you very much.
Are
My
they
Sex Pistols without EMI, the original pressing, has that on there now.
Are they metal
That's
or
nice.
are they the plastic ones that are kind of flexible?
They're metal. They're metal.
Yeah,
The one I have, it's kind of plastic. It's stiff, but it's a little flexible.
That's what I like
on
about
the floor
this. This frame is great. It's like a I don't know, what is that called?
Yeah, I have some.
Oh
that
no,
have-
yeah, mine are not like that at all. No.
This is
Yeah,
great.
you don't
I don't
want
know
to-
where I got this, but I've had it for years and years. It's great. There's no actually I have the record taped in there. There's nothing like pushing on it.
I don't
Yeah,
even know
it's
what
really
an
cool.
original Nirvana Nevermind goes for now, but it goes for less when it's got 4 big dents in the back cover, I'm sure. Good times.
Huh.
All right, and that wraps things up today for the episode. We'll end on a note like that. Thank you so much for joining us for episode number 23. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. Please be sure to subscribe. That way, if we go live, you won't miss it. You want to definitely check out our live shows. Not everything makes the final upload. Some things get edited or censored, as it were, out. So please subscribe to us. Please consider thumbing up the video if you liked it. And, of course, check out our community page. Or if you have the mobile app, just scroll and you'll see our polls that we put up every once in a while. Sometimes just opinion polls, and then sometimes more like trivia polls about something that happened on the episode. So I am Robert Fitton, along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Plethora.
Mike at Hubtunes.
Thanks again so much for watching. We will see you next time. Well, you'll see us.
Yeah,
We won't see you. You'll see us. You'll see a
Unless we're
visual
creeping in their window.
facsimile of us.